What's up, YouTube? So today I have some videos. These are a continuation of the previous videos. However, it's not about the gameplay or the videos. It's more about what I'm gonna say. So if you guys don't know, I started off at around about last spring slash summer with ranked games, and I dropped down to around 500 elo, which is pretty. It's like the bottom 25% of the League of Legends gameplay population in terms of the ranking. So I wasn't ranked pretty well, and quite recently I've gotten up to 1400, which is still not the top of the top, but it's around top 20%, maybe top 15% of players that play ranked games, which is pretty good for all of the players in North America. So I'm just going to tell you guys how I did it and how you guys can do it too. So listen up for these tips. Also, I know I'm not the best player. There's definitely a lot of things I do wrong, but I'm definitely learning to improve. And this advice is really aimed towards people who really just aren't good like me and are really down there at like 500 elo or 600 elo and just want to get themselves up and out of there. So how did I get from bottom 25% to top 25%? Well, the first thing is you have to have a certain mindset, and I talked about that in my previous video, so watch that. But basically you need to always be positive. Now, other than that, I do have to say that gaining elo is actually more of a abrupt process, at least for me and a lot of people I've talked to who are platinum level. They say that, and I've experienced it myself, once you know all the concepts and have mastered them, your elo will just shoot up. It'll just be like 10 wins in a row, 10 victories in a row after 10 victories in a row. That's actually what happened towards the start of January of this year. See, I had gone from 500 up to 1,000, and for some strange reason I dropped all the way back down to 600. So that was the start of January. I was at 600. Then I started playing normals again just to practice, and just normal games, no ranked games. And then when I started around February again for ranked games, I just had complete wins. Like if you looked at my match history throughout February and into March, it was just straight up win after win after win. And pretty much from 600 all the way up to around maybe 1300, I rarely lost a game. And the most funny part about it was, you would expect for me to do this, I would have a kill-death ratio of something really high to something really low, like 13 kills to maybe 1 or 2 deaths. But this was actually not the case. Even though I won like every game, when I looked at my kill-death ratio, it was like pretty bad sometimes. It was usually even around like 4 kills and 5 deaths. A lot of assists usually, but that was just my playstyle. And I've talked to some people who are gold ranked and 1 or 2 people who are platinum ranked about this specific issue, and basically what they said was that certain people have different playstyles depending on their roles and how they play, and because of that, kill death ratio isn't really important. Some people will have higher ones, some people have lower ones. I know this one gold ranked player who I've played a lot of games with, and he would always have an extremely high kill to death ratio when he wins a game. It'd always be like 15-2 or 17-1, something like that. And the reason is, in my opinion, is because he plays AP mid lane, which means you have to be able to deal a lot of damage and finish people off, and you can't die because you're so squishy and you're so vital to the damage of your team. You have to stay in the back and try to escape if people try and focus you down. So each death for an AP mid person is very important, and if you're skilled enough, you shouldn't be dying. Whereas if you play jungler or something else like top lane like me, you're usually gonna die a lot more because junglers, for the current meta, you have to pretty much tank for the rest of the team, which means you're one of the first people to die. That's why my kill to death ratio isn't always high, but junglers and tanks have an important role in that even though you die first, you might be able to sacrifice your life for several of the opponent's deaths. So that's why kill to death ratio isn't that important. So anyhow, I shot straight up there. I went from 600 all the way up to 1300 quite easily. I still lost every now and then. I'm not saying it was 100% win rate, and there are definitely games where you just can't carry, whether it's because all 4 of your teammates are horrible and are dying constantly. You just have to let that go. But the point of the story is that you have to play the statistics. The goal of each game you play in ranked is to do better than all 9 players that are playing other than you. If you're doing better than all 9 players, even if you lose a game, statistics will balance things out and you will win more than you lose. So that's the goal. You have to look at kill death ratio for one thing, objectives for another, and compare yourself to the opponents who's playing your role. So say you're playing jungler, you have to see if you're getting more turrets than their jungler, if you're getting more kills and getting more successful ganks than their jungler, getting more buffs than their jungler, stealing buffs, and getting the dragon and baron more than their team. So you could do this for every role. AD carry, see if you get more CS, support, see if you ward more clearly and harass better. AP mid, pretty much more kills, more CS, more damage to their turret, etc. So yeah, that's what you have to do basically. Other than that, I think the main thing is that I do see a lot of people who do not know what items to buy, and this is so crucial. It's it's some people say this game is a lot like a huge game of rock paper scissors. So if someone plays scissors and you don't play the counter, which is rock, you're pretty much going to lose out. A good example of this is if their whole team is attack damage, and you can tell if their team is attack damage based or ability power based by what type of champions they're running and what kind of items they're playing. So if you look at their team and you notice that all their champions are attack damage champions who only scale on attack damage and have attack damage items, you want to counter that right. So the only and best way to counter this, well, not only, but one of the best ways to counter this is to build armor, especially if you're losing the game. Some people, even though, especially in low elos, but I still see this at my current elo, a lot of people will buy the wrong item. I'll see people buying magic resistance when they build armor. If the opposing team has attack damage, which is completely useless. You've now spent 3,000 gold on an item that does completely nothing. It provides resistance against magic damage when none of your opponents have magic damage. So you've pretty much lost the game for yourself by wasting 3,000 gold, which is crucial for games that can be put into a bunch of other stuff, and pretty much filling up an item slot with a completely useless item, give or take, because some items also give movement speed and a little bit of other stuff, but magic resistance items are mainly based towards magic resistance. So that's another thing. You have to know what type of item to buy, and if you look at my match history now, you'll see a bunch of variants. You'll see me playing the same champion, but in each of my games, my items will vary, specifically depending on the game. Especially for support characters sometimes, like my current Taric builds. I've played 3 Taric games quite recently, and all of them are completely different in terms of item builds. One of them I have different type of boots, and I also have completely different items. And it all depends on what your opponents are. Like one game I built a whole bunch of health and armor because the whole team was attack damage based. And another game I built a lot of damage because they were all extremely squishy. So I'll see you guys later, and subscribe please.